Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Javier, and I'm excited to be with you here today. I want to share some news with you as it relates to what we've got going on this week so that we can make it a productive one. I'm not going to take much of your time, but I do want to share some things that are very important as it relates to this coming week. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a few stragglers coming in, so let me just let them in, and we can go ahead and kick off our portion of the day, and then we go on with our day. First of all, I want to welcome everybody once again. This is our Monday morning huddle call, if you would, as it relates to the school campaigns. We're going to recap some things we have been going through this past week. And at the same time, we're going to go ahead and share with you some new things as well. So let's get right to it right now. A couple of first things first. I want to just let everybody know, I've been mentioning this to everybody, but as of this coming Saturday, I'll be out of the country. And so it's important for you to have any questions answered that you might have right now, any pending issues. And I do mean anything whatsoever, to go ahead and do that right now, because once I'm gone, I will have my phone with me and I will be, kind of connected to the internet. I'm going to be on a cruise, and then after the cruise, I'm going to be at the FFS event in Naples, Florida. And so it'll be, I think, 14 days we're going to be gone. And so I will be in communication once we get back on land. But during the cruise itself, it's going to be a little more sketchy. So please make sure that you have anything and everything pending ironed out with me that you might need me for, and then we'll take it from there as well. As a matter of fact, that's going to be me waving at you right there. Anyways, also, I just want to let you know we're not going to have any more Wednesday night webinars. We were doing the study hall to kind of get everybody up and running as the school year began. We've done everything we possibly can. Now the ball's in your court. So we want to make sure that everybody understands that we have a lot of resources, starting with all the videos on our YouTube channel, on specializedmarkets.us and so on. Because like I said, this is crunch time for some of you. I held an event this past weekend, a strategy session, and I told everybody there's going to be about probably, I won't say half the room, but a good portion of the room is not going to be here with us at the end of the month. And we want to make sure that we squeeze as many people as we can to stay versus them having to go. So if you're on thin ice and you were not there on Saturday, you're kind of behind the eight ball right now. So let's go ahead and just continue. Also, understand that if you have any questions related to LSW or National Life Group, 403Bs, IULs, this is the number you want to have on your phone. Make sure you have it saved onto your phone so that way you can go ahead and make sure that you get your answers ASAP. Don't call George, don't call me. Call LSW or National Life Group. And when you click on, when you call this number, you'll have an option for life. You'll have an option for annuities as well. And so make sure that this is the number, again, that you have to have stored on your phone. If you can't, for whatever reason, write it down right now, at least know that you can watch the replay of this video, which we're going to talk about here in just 1 second. And there's even a 403B number dedicated just for LSW as well. Once you start to get deeper into it, I'm going to make sure that you have that number as well. But as it relates to underwriting questions, marketing, anything, software, start here. You'll get your answers a lot faster. If you happen to call during like a Monday when it's horrible, call, press 1, and the system will call you back when it's your turn, so you don't have to be on hold forever. Also, as it relates to the same thing, we had a few issues this past week with TSA Consulting Group. This is the TSA Consulting Group that handles the LAUSD 403B side of the house. Now, this is what the website looks like for the actual teachers. TSA is a very large company, but LAUSD is their biggest or second biggest account. So they have a whole team dedicated just to LAUSD employees. And so this is the number that you want. When it comes to can you roll something over or can you not roll something over, we had an opportunity. One of our agents had an opportunity this week to roll over a 457 within the LAUSD. For a while, LAUSD was offering 457s or 403B to their actual teachers. And while you're not a 457 consultant, you do need to know some of the differences. And one of the biggest differences within the LAUSD 457 plan is that if they go 457 versus 403B, they cannot, I say again, they cannot take any loans out of it. So they are committing their money until they're 59 and a half, period. And the only exception to that is if they separate from service, and then they're responsible for taxes if they access it that way as well. So make sure you have this number. Any questions related to any issue with the 457 or 43B within the LAUSD, here's who you want to call and have your questions answered. So please, again, jot this number down. Don't call me, don't text me, and don't email me asking me for these numbers, by the way. I'll show you how you can get your hands on them right now. Oh, here it is. If you need any information that we've mentioned during these actual webinars, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and they click on the notifications bell, and you'll get notified when videos get uploaded. And you go to ffsonyoutube.com, ffsonyoutube.com, and subscribe to the channel. Again, hit the notifications bell, and that's where you can review any numbers you missed. Don't call me. Last week, 2 people called me, and the first thing I told them was, whatever you do, don't call me, ask me for a number. And the first thing they did as soon as the webinar was over, hey, I was driving. Can you do me a favor and text? And I just simply ignored them. And so, like I said, you won't get a response from me. It's just like, no, don't do that. Just simply go to YouTube, watch the video, scan the QR code, or write down the numbers or whatever. It's just a more efficient way of doing business. I'm not an operator. And so therefore, I just don't have that kind of, especially this week. I'm also very excited to announce that we are officially, starting as of this past Wednesday, silver sponsors with the LAPD Baker to Vegas race once again. And we do have an event coming up on November 11th, 2023. It is called the Memorial Run. And what we're using this as, we're using this as a way to expose new agents to the police campaign. So we're not bringing any of our existing experts, if you would. We've got some very, very, very good police related experts. We're not going to bring any of them. And I'm not excluding them. It's just that I think this is a great way to expose, if you would. This is a great way to expose the actual newer people that are qualified to this campaign. So this simply means that we're going to be there for like 3-4 hours. We're going to do 2 things. We're going to run a barbecue, a barbecue stand, a hot dog stand, whatever you want to call it. And next to it, we have an actual booth for how to bulletproof your financial future. We're going to do the whole setup. And all it's intended to do is expose you, because there's going to be about 300 to 600 police officers there, to expose you to the culture, make connections, and just see what you're all about. Maybe you have what it takes. Maybe you don't. I don't know. And the best way to find out is to throw you to the lions and find out how good you are when it comes to prospecting, collecting information. You know, we're going to have a raffle on the spot for a tablet. So we're going to give you a great leadway into just chatting with the officers and their family, because it's going to be a lot of families. It's going to be kids. And so this is what it's all about. So you don't need to apply. There are some of you that we are already thinking of inviting, and there are some of you that might not even be there by the time, or might not even be part of the company by the time this arrives. Because remember, nobody will ever exclude you. You'll exclude yourself based on your production, based on your closing ratio, and so on. We don't want looky-loos. We just simply want to go see what it's like. We want people that are going to use this as another additional stream of revenue, quality business at that, when it comes to with law enforcement market as well. So if you have any questions about that, hit me up. And again, that's November 11th. Registration starts at 7, so we'll be there by 6:30, and we'll be out of there by probably 10:30 at the very latest. It's a short event, but it's my kind of event. Get in and get out, and it's going to be a really, really fun event for those that can make it as well. So if anybody has any questions, if you have any questions about this right now, ask away, so we don't have to come back, and that way you don't have to call me. Any questions about this? We're looking to have about...
I have a quick question. Are we the only vendor, or is like Colonial or Aflac going to be there?
I don't think they're going. I don't know if they're going to be there, but we're the only ones that got invited without having to pay a fee, because they just wanted us to be there. And so they actually called me. So I don't know about that. Now, when it comes to the police campaign, Baker to Vegas, there are other, up until now, we've been the only financial services company. And then all of a sudden, last year, we started to get, and I completely understand why they did it, because these companies are willing to pay the registration fee to be a vendor, if you would. And we ended up getting a company called 911 Financial, which is just somebody's DBA of an IMO, something like that. I know that officer's wife is in WFG, a World Financial Group. The husband decided to pay her fee but I also know that nobody got anything out of it except us. We've been doing this for a very long time, and the marketing is just simply not there. If you don't understand how this beast of a market works, you're going to end up wasting all of your money, because you don't have and I'll cover this when we do the actual police seminar that we're going to invite some of you over. And like, for instance, the one that you saw, you were at the Colton, I believe.
Yeah, I was at Colton, but I used to do the police officers with Colonial. We would go every other week or weekend. It would be like, in and out, and we would be booths. So I just wanted to know, for personal reasons, were they going to be there?
Sure. Yeah. The answer is I've never seen them. Never. Okay. I just never seen them. As a matter of fact, I just had I had an event over at my grandson's. As you guys know, this Saturday I had to go to my grandson's birthday, and There had a good friend of mine. He's a police officer at LAPD. He says nobody. The last time he saw anybody there was 2.5 months ago. So they're not going into the stations. It was very hard to get into them, harder than ever before.
Are
After
you
COVID.
gonna send the registration, or should we just text you if we want to go?
I know who you are, meaning not just you, but who the people are, and you're going to be part of that. So don't worry about it. I'll
Okay.
send you the
Okay.
registration. Okay.
You got it.
Uh,
You got it.
any other questions from anybody, please? All right. Well, if not, stop me as I go. But I want to also congratulate this gentleman, Mr. Rhett Stafford. He did a hell of a job. He just came on board with us, I think 3 weeks ago or something like that, and is already putting up some serious numbers. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize him. As a matter of fact, he submitted an application, I believe last Tuesday is what he said, his first one. And tomorrow, which is Tuesday, is his first payday. And I think it's getting paid for more than one because it's thousands of dollars. So I'm assuming it has to be getting paid for more than one. I'm not too sure. But the point that I'm making is that's the speed that we want everybody here to be at, not just to get off to a fast start, but maintain that fast start. And meaning that, again, I'm not going to get into what we covered on Saturday in detail, but we were talking about making sure you know your number of what you came here to achieve. Because if you're not hitting it, you need to get together with, not right now, but you get together with me for a strategy session, or you need to get out, because of the simple fact that we don't have time to waste. And I don't want to waste your time, and I sure as hell don't want to waste my time. And I want to make sure that, again, I'm dealing with people, because life insurance agents are a dime a dozen. They just simply want more money. But finding life agents that understand the self-discipline, the success in any industry requires, that's very, very hard. Finding life agents that have that enough of that self-confidence to really succeed, that's very, very hard. Finding life agents that are coachable. I was in I'm not going to say where because you'll know who it is, but I was in another city, and I was talking to the brand new agent that wants to come on board. And every time I started to explain something to him, he said, yeah, I know that. And then I said, look, listen, let me show you the presentation for the teachers. And I was like on the third slide, yeah, I know, I get it. And so very clearly, I just closed the laptop and said, dude, let me tell you something. I don't want to waste your time, but in reality, that's code for me saying I don't want to waste my damn time. And so I just got up and left. Saved me a hell of a lot of time of trying to figure out how the hell to shake him off. And that was it. I can't stand people like that, because my whole thing is, if you know all this, why the hell are you struggling so much? And of course, that's not my job to figure out. That's for him to figure out for himself. So anyways, but again, stay coachable, be like Rhett. And I think I just want to take a moment to congratulate him. As a matter of fact, this Thursday, we're going to be getting together, which I'm going to mention to you right now, because he, like a few other people that never attended our how to open up the school training, promised that I was going to help them by holding a private event, which is this week, which I'll cover here in just 1 second. I also want to congratulate Gene. Gene helped, as a matter of fact, I did the class that I'm telling you about with Gene. I went out to the Valley. We started with breakfast. We started meeting with a couple of cops. And then from there, we went ahead and hit the field. And we were all able to open up schools in the Valley. She opened up one of the schools, and lo and behold, that day arrived, that she presented at the school and got, I think, 9 appointments or something like that out of the meeting. So I just want to congratulate her. It was her very, 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 very first presentation, and she did a great job. And I'm very proud that she's with us here on this team, and we need more people like her. So congratulations, Gene, on the job well done. And I just challenge you to scale it up as soon as you feel comfortable enough to do so, and you have the support, meaning other people in the Valley, to help you. Because remember, right now we opened, I think it was 26 LAUSD schools. There's a total of 700 plus schools that are wanting what we offer. We just don't have the qualified people yet. We'll have more, but we'll never get to working with all 700. So I'll hopefully do that. Having said that, I want to recognize so far in October 2023, our top personal producers. As you know, we recognize people based on the system. Whatever the Leaders Board at FFS shows is what we determine it. And this is what everybody should be striving for. If you're not striving to be on this board, then don't be on the webinar, because this is intended for people that want to scale their business up. And so having said that, I want to congratulate our number 3 personal producer so far this month, Mr. Reggie Foster, with 3.8 applications. Number 2 is Kathy Darugar with 5.5 apps so far this month. I think she told me she's shooting for, I don't know if she's on here, but she told me something 12 or
15.
Oh, what is it?
15.
She's shooting for 15. And let me tell you something about Kathy. If I know anything about Kathy, she'll hit it. Okay, so don't ever doubt her. because she's at 5.5. She's saying she's shooting for 15. And I would much rather be the one that shoots for 15 and ends up with only 14 than the person who aimed for 3 and ends up the month with 0. And so congratulations, Kathy, on a job well done. But I also want to congratulate our number one personal producer so far this month, and that's Mr. Rhett Stafford, who again just came on board 3 weeks ago. He's already at 6 apps, 0.5 ahead of Kathy. But let me tell you something about Kathy. She's the kind of person that I can guarantee you is happy for Rhett. She's just that kind of person, loves seeing other people win. But at the same time, she's sitting there, well, we got to fix this. And so she probably will. So good luck to all of you here. My challenge is to hurry up and catch up with them early on in the month and challenge you to pass them. But it's going to be, I think, a real fun month between Rhett and Kathy. And I can't wait to see what the outcome is. So good luck to everybody. Also, we held a strategy session this past Saturday. I'm not going to get all into it, what we covered, but I'll give you a quick summary in one slide. And this is actually, I got to go through each individual slide. And I'm not going to get into it, but what really boiled down to were the 5 keys you need to scale up your business. I told everybody there's probably, almost half of you, they're probably not going to be here in a month unless you really turn things around, and you have to scale up. Maybe go from 0 applications a month to 3, or maybe go from 0 to 5, or go from 5 to 15 or 20. The point is you have to leverage some of these things. And just real quickly, what I did cover with them was the importance of dressing the part. Everybody here needs to step up, especially if you're new or newer. Your dress code, don't walk in looking anything less than 100% professional. That means a coat and tie type of thing, or at least a jacket. But this is not the time for some of you, based on your current production, to just do the whole business casual. And then they assume you don't know what you're talking about, or you're not as self-assured. And then you open your mouth and you verify that they were right. You want to play the part. When you dress up, they immediately will give you that much more power. They will address you differently, and so on. And so, like we say, dress as you would like to be addressed. Number 2 is you got to learn to leverage technology to the max. We talked about Google Calendar, Calendly, Constant Contact. And so even if we, on our part, go ahead and schedule the actual appointments, or based on what the teacher did, you have to have your own account. You have to go ahead and come in with your own Calendly or whatever, even at least Google Calendar. And I don't like Google Calendar for the simple fact that it gives them a chance to confirm. I don't like them when they have to accept the appointment. I hate that. Calendly just tells them of what is coming. This is your appointment with Javier for next week at whatever. That just tells them. We never wait for a confirmation. We never wait for anything. We just show up the day of, whether they responded, yes, of course, I'll be there, or no. We just show up. Last week, we stopped working with one individual who had 5 people on his calendar that when we were reviewing the actual update reports, that did not see 5 of them. And the reason was that they never confirmed. I'm like, look, that just sounds like a bunch of bull to me, because even if they're not supposed to confirm. You're supposed to show up. You mean show up even if they haven't confirmed? Look, if that's such a big deal, just don't let the door hit you in the butt. Okay, for the simple fact that I just don't have that we don't have that kind of time, and we don't have that kind of leads to waste so many of these. So many people are willing to show up. You can't get picky with us. So like I said, get your own Calendly account or Constant Contact. You can get a free one with Constant Contact or something like that. Now, where Constant Contact comes in, if you go and you're giving 5 leads or 10 leads, they are your appointments as well. So put them into a database and then go ahead and communicate with them. Even if you have to give them back to us, it's a great way to just grow your database, to do that, or some kind of CRM. We talked about the importance of drilling for skill, working with the buddy system, making sure that you are working with somebody. We had somebody on the spot do a CalSTRS worksheet, and the guy just choked, meaning that, it doesn't take that long, right? Oh, well, hold on, my phone did this. I mean, we need people that just whip it out on the spot and can get it done. It's not that hard if you practice. That just tells me you haven't practiced. You haven't been practicing, and that just tells me this does not mean that much to you. I believe that you need the money. You want the money. You want the success. I get it. But until you put in the time, let me tell you something. It will show. When you put in the effort, it will show. And when you don't put in the effort, it will show as well. Be an expert at finding the money. We went over a quick exercise on how to do that. Most people do it the opposite way than what I showed everybody. This is the way to find the money. I should say never. I almost never have any IULs under $500 because I show people how to do it. We start with what maybe they already spent. We start with what they already save. we start with what they already blow on life insurance. And so when I start with somebody, I usually start at a starting point of $500 a month. Then I show them how they just got a pay raise. So that should be about $700 a month. And then realistically, in a perfect world, you should be around $800 to $900 a month, only to have them say, well, let's just keep it at 700. Okay. And then when I come back, I give them good news and great news. The good news, and then I show it to them, is that I didn't hit the 80% you wanted. The great news is that I hit 92%. You're done for life. And here's the good news. Instead of the 900 that I thought and the 700 that you offered, we can get it done with just $500. Isn't that something? Isn't that incredible? Now, don't get too happy, of course. You do have to get approved. And my recommendation is let's just go ahead and get the application in today to see if you do get approved, because you're not committing to anything. But if you do get approved, let me tell you something, buddy. You better not ever let go of this IUL. And they won't. So that's important. How to open up schools, which we're going to talk about right now. Some of you, we are not going to give you any more leads for the simple fact that either A, your closing ratio is kind of crappy, or B, right now, the ones that we are generating are going to the ones that have a much better closing ratio than you. So what does that mean? That means that you better learn how to open up schools. And we're going to show you how to do that this Thursday if you are available and interested as well. Also become a master presenter. You are part of a greater asset if you do, when you become a much better presenter. Because now from the same presentation, instead of getting, let's just say 8 out of 20, you can get 14 out of 20. And that's going to increase the number of quality appointments you get just because you became a better presenter, become a master closer. We talked about how a closer is not just somebody that closes business. That's the duh. But a closer is somebody that shows up prepared to do anything else. You show up with your equipment. I was telling everybody, I went to a presentation with Manny. And because I've worked with Manny, I've trained Manny, I went into my bag to get my clicker. And it turns out I left it at the last school we were at because they threw us out real quick. And so all I had to do was say, hey, Manny, I need to borrow your clicker. And he opened up his bag. He gave me the clicker. I didn't have to ask him, do you have one? Please tell me you brought one. Please tell me there's one in your trunk. No. If I got to work with somebody, if I have to hope and pray that the person that's with me has their stuff with them, I'm working with the wrong person. And if that's you, then your days are numbered. We want to make sure that we are 100% prepared every single time for everything that we do. Also, we gave everybody a pop quiz, and everybody in the room failed it miserably, where I gave them for free the Mastering Influence, where we talked about the urbans, we talked about the lurbans, and how most of you, us humans, we focus on the lurbans. And we don't want to do that. We want to go more towards the urbans. I showed them one quick example, which is how I closed 90+% of the people that I meet with, unless they are sick and don't qualify, or they just don't have the money, and I don't believe in chargebacks. I can't stand chargebacks. So that's my 10%. But if it's for them, I'm not going to go somewhere hoping I get a sale today. That's not me. I'd rather keep my butt in bed before I get out of bed to hopefully knock out a sale. I'm going there for only one reason, and that's for the formality of sitting with them and submitting their application. And that's the mindset that every single one of you has to have. Because as I continue to do more of what we call strategy sessions, I'll give you an example of what I mean. When we concluded our presentation on Saturday, I promised everybody that those that responded within the time limit, I was going to do a one-on-one strategy session, especially for those of you that are struggling. Now, you might not know you're struggling. You might not want to recognize the fact that you're struggling or that you're on thin ice. I know you're on thin ice. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what you think. It's basically what your numbers say. So what I did is, for those that were there on Saturday, I offered to do a one-on-one strategy session via Zoom before I leave this coming Saturday. And the thing sold out in 2 hours. So if anybody here would want to do a one-on-one strategy session to see what exactly is wrong with your business and how we can turn it around, you're late, because there's no more sessions. And I'm not going to do those sessions after I come back from vacation. It's over. So if you missed a little on Saturday, you missed a lot. And so we want to make sure we do that. I gave most of you here the Mastering Influence. I had 2 people this week ask me, this is what they were asking me about, if I could send them the Mastering Influence. I just ignore them for the simple fact that we want to do that. So anyways, so you got to do that. Drill for will simply means, why are you here? What keeps you here? What keeps you going? You got to have the will. Most people lack will. If you were to ask me, what's the one thing in mortgages, real estate? What's the one thing that for life insurance agents, what is the one thing that most people lack? It's not a license. It's not E&O. It's not the carriers. It's not the products. It's not the writers. It's not all that magical stuff. It's the will within your heart. And most people just simply cannot get themselves up and dust themselves off and go at it again because they lack the will. And so if you're going to work on anything, work on your will, work on your spirit, work on your soul, work on yourself, work on your why. Because I'm telling you, you are in the right place at the right time. And if you happen to go from here to another company, we just had several people that left the company come back to the company. And I don't take sloppy seconds. So if you do want to come back to the company, we'll transfer you to another team and give you the chance to succeed there, which, by the way, they don't do specialized markets. I just don't do that. When people come back, no. I don't do that. Sorry. And so that's why I always tell everybody, we're free. You're free to stop working with us, and we're free to stop working with you at any time. This is, we need to be here because we want to. I love to lead an all volunteer army. At any time you can tap out, but at the same time, we can tap you out as well. And that's the standard I want to be held up to. I want every single, I'm not going to play it right now, but I showed a slideshow of every person that has joined us since we started this latest wave, and of all the people that have made money. These people went from, I'm talking about at least one, and with a lot of them, if not most, multiple, that this is real. This is the real deal. The only question is, are you the real deal? I don't know that yet, because we still want to make sure that not only can you write business, but you can maintain it and sustain it. And that's going to be the challenge for most people. And then the last thing is here. Too many people here are still on the liability side of the house, and you better move your butt over to the asset side of the house very, very quickly. Now, what does that mean? I don't mind taking new people with me to the police or to the teachers and schools and have to babysit people. No, stand here, sit there, hand out. I don't mind, because I want you to look at this. But there was a gentleman that was there this past Saturday who I've been on having conversations. He wants to come on board, but he kept asking me, is this a Mickey Mouse thing? I go, maybe it is. That's why you need to go to the school meeting with the teachers and check out the staff meeting for yourself, because it's either one of two things. It's either Mickey Mouse, like you said, or it's the real deal. Now, I'm a little biased. I'll tell you it's the real deal. So why don't you go there, check it out for yourself, and then tell me about it, and tell me what you think. And so he went there, whatever. And then but what I told him was this: I just want to warn you. I want to warn you that you need to scrutinize the hell out of us, because whenever you tell me that you're done scrutinizing us, I'm going to turn right around and scrutinize the hell out of you. So I hope you're not thin-skinned, because if you are, you might as well leave now. And this guy's, no, I'm a go-getter. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm just warning you, because we're going to scrutinize the hell out of you, and we'll never stop scrutinizing you, because these appointments, preset appointments, are very expensive to generate, and we're not going to just let people take a free ride forever. So going back here, it's okay to be a liability in the beginning, but after a while, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet. You're going to have to open up eventually your own schools. You're going to have to present. You're going to have to do, or at least, if you're going to be a closer, we expect your closing ratio from go to 10%, 15% to around 60%. But if you've been here for a while and your closing ratio is 10%, well, you're going to have to maintain that 10% on your own appointments from schools you open up yourself and you presented yourself, but you sure as hell ain't going to get some of my good appointments to get a 10%. I'd rather give it to other people on the team who are doing 40, 50, 60% or higher. And so that's why it's very important to, as quickly as possible, move over from the liability side of the house to the asset side of the house as well. Like I said, the strategy sessions that I'm telling you are things that you should get with your upline to address and be very, very open about what it is that's happening within your team. I love doing strategy sessions, especially with key people on my team that I cannot afford to see them wash out just because they did not find their true north, just because nobody took the time to say, look, you're right on the verge of your success. Just change this, do more of that, do less of this. It's amazing how when we seek counsel, I heard a long time ago, one of my mentors say, nothing excites or incites a person more than being held accountable by a master in his or her trade. And that's very, very true, because I had to submit myself time and time again to people that I consider masters of my trade. My trade is marketing. And so I will always go more at the marketing angle than the life insurance angle. I think you can get a trained chimp to sell an IUL for the simple fact that it's very mechanical. There's not a whole lot to it, but it's a human element. It's a human element that until you master that, until you at least get good enough at that, not a damn thing's going to change from you going to this company, to that company, to that company, where they don't even give you the preset appointments until you change yourself. Nothing. So that's why it's strategy sessions. And like I said, the ones that I was offering sold out. So if you didn't get one, I'm sorry. Should have been there Saturday. Okay. And if you were there on Saturday, should have moved on it even faster because they went out and I'm sorry. I have a very limited amount of time this week as it relates to the actual week. It's going to be gone before you know it. We are going to have a special event this Thursday for two types of people. Either A, you were not here when we did the last one, which are a few of you. We got 4 people that fall in that category. But if I'm going to take the time to meet with 4 people, hell, I'm paying. Well, I'm not going to tell you how much, but I'm paying. Good money to this place for a 1 hour. I only need the classroom for an hour and a half because we start at 8:30, not 8:31, not 8:35, 8:30. If you're not at the door at 8, sitting your butt in your seat at 8:30, just turn your car around and go home because late arrivals are so distracting. You have no clue. We only have. I had to rent the place for 3 hours, even though I need it for an hour, hour and a half. And from there, we're going to hit the street and we're going to go straight to some of the schools in the surrounding area. And if you're not from that area, let's just say you're from, whatever area, then you go to your area and do this. And so my recommendation is if you've never been to a class or you need a refresher, you're more than welcome to attend. It's going to be in the city of Montebello, right off the 60 freeway. I don't remember the cross street, but I think it's Beverly. It's on Beverly. It's basically East LA, Montebello. The reason for that is because I have a map set up already of the schools that we're going to hit in the Eastern District. The person that we opened up the Eastern District for has decided to not continue. You guys don't even know it. The guy just never showed up again. Talk to talk. I believed them. I went ahead and started getting some principles ready, and the guy just never came back. And so, like I said, never heard of why, just never came back. But what we're going to do is if you haven't been to one or you need a refresher, then you're more than welcome to go ahead and join us here. I'm going to show you the link right now. So you need your camera. So grab your camera so you can scan it and get the QR code. Please don't call me or text me during the week for the address, for the link, for the time, for the details. Watch the recording of the video. Seating is very limited because we got the classroom. We needed to run an office, if you would, in the immediate area so we can minimize drive time so we can get there and hit them before the lunch break. And so we're going to do that this coming Thursday. We're going to start at 8:30. The doors open at 8:15. And when I say we start at 8:30, I mean we start just like this past Saturday. We said we're going to start at 9. We started at literally 9. And if you want to look foolish by trying to walk in late, that's on you. But we will start. And guess what? I'll give you a little secret. There's going to be heavy traffic on Thursday morning. So just keep that in mind. So you're not the one that walks in saying guess what? There was traffic today and the parking was bad. Okay. And so anyways, if you're interested in that, this is the actual flow code or the QR code. Just scan it with your phone. It should open up actual, website or Eventbrite, I think it is this time. And it's free. You're not going to pay for anything. I'm paying for everything. The office, blah, blah, blah. We are going to show everyone how to use what I use, which is the laminating or what I call self-laminating. So I'm going to bring all this stuff with me. Self-adhesive laminating sheets. I'm going to show you how to get them on Amazon. They're super cheap. And that's how I laminate the actual cardboard. So for everybody that RSVPs, I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to print out the flyer on what's called stock, which is the thick cardboard. And it's going to have the flyer in the front. The back is going to have the actual pictures of the school events, if you would, like I showed you before. And then your job is to just laminate it. If you want to, I encourage you to do so because it lasts a lot longer. It looks sharper. And it's amazing how well it works when you show a principal that at the door. So we're going to do that, slip it around, do that. Your job is just to simply laminate them. If you just want to go to Amazon, if you're going to be there, of course, it's called the self-adhesive laminating sheets. You don't need a machine for these. It's basically big stickers. You just simply rip one off and then you stick the cardboard or the flyer on it, and then you peel another one and sandwich it on top. And there you go. That's going to be that right there. Any questions about this before I leave? Because we're almost done. All right. Any questions? Unmute yourself now. Please don't call me right after the damn webinar is over. Do it now. All right. So, oh shit. I guess that's it. that's pretty much it as it relates to what we have going this week. We're not going to have regularly scheduled Wednesday night webinars. There's no need for that right now. If we see a trend, I do believe in nipping it in the butt, meaning immediately if we see chargebacks or we see it. So we might have one here and there, and I'll let you know with much anticipation as possible. But we're not going to do that on a Wednesday night, especially with these strategy sessions. They got booked. I didn't think they were going to go that quick. They were gone. And so that's eating. So I'd rather have those sessions than a Wednesday, a generic webinar on Wednesday, because listen to me, we need to get everybody to the next level. I don't care how good you're doing, and I don't care how bad you might be doing. We need to get you up to the next level because, like I said, by next month, we are going to see more appointments coming in to less people because a good portion, not a good, some people, especially from the new members is what I'm referring to, are going to be removed. And so therefore, somebody has to run those appointments, and we're going to be able to do that. This is also the week I've been waiting for. Let me go ahead and show you this real quick. And the reason that I've been waiting for is because I understand, let me go back over here, that this week we only have, I believe it's only two. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh, shit. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Yeah, this week we have Norwood. Monica has that one tomorrow, and Reggie has Markham Middle School, and they're both going to be nice. This one has 40 something. I don't remember how many Monica's has, but the point is that with 23, and with Reggie's, I think it's 40 something, 40 staff members. What does this mean? This means that this is the week we've been waiting for to catch up on every single appointment that you have, whether it means you show up for your appointments in person, whether it be you show up to work the campus. This is the week we've been waiting to catch our breath, because let me tell you, starting next week, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next week. Then we have 4 the week after. Plus we have next Friday and 2 Fridays. This one has been moved. I'm going to be in San Diego to conduct the one presentation. And then the first week in November, I'm going to be back in San Diego for another presentation as well. I was in San Diego, and now this is I'm going to discuss in great detail during the class on Thursday. I was in San Diego, and it turned out to be a fail, a flop, if you would, because the challenge we ran into, I did not know this, and this is how you learn. I got up at, that's another thing that this one person did wrong. Got there late. You don't want to get there late. I told him I was up at 4:30, my friend, coming from Ontario. You came from 12 miles away, and I still got here early. So don't try to bullshit me, because of the simple fact that I'm telling you right now, if I can make it on time from Ontario, I can expect you to be here on time from 12 miles away. And if that's not the case, then I don't need you. We don't want that kind of hoping, praying that they make it on time this time. Only one person can do that, and that's George. And that position is taken by George, and he's holding it pretty well. So that's it. Other than that, everybody else needs to make sure you get here on time. And so, having said that, it's very important to know. So what happened in San Diego? Here's what happened in San Diego. We got to the principal. Everything was fine. But then the principal told us that in San Diego, unlike LAUSD, they only hold one staff meeting a month. And that staff meeting cannot last more than 55 minutes. And so based on all the stuff that they have to cover from the whole month at that one meeting, they can only give us 2 to 3 minutes. And there's just no way in hell I would even try to do a presentation in 2 to 3 minutes. Now, when they tell me 8 minutes, I usually take my 10 to 12, and they live. In this example, it's different. It's very different, because of the simple fact that if they tell us 2 to 3 minutes and we, for whatever reason, take longer than that, we're going to be in trouble. So the point is that we're going to refocus, and we're moving now to a school district called Chula Vista. So we're going to be doing this in Chula Vista, San Diego, whatever. I guess it's a little further north or south. I don't know. But the point is that we're doing it all over again. And we're doing it in Chula Vista because they have monthly staff meetings there. They have 100, I think 50, 55 or something like that schools. And so we're going to be able to better design. So what we have done, we went ahead and uploaded. And so now what we have here, I want to see if I can show it to you if it's even uploaded, because we were having some, here it is, to see opportunities, contacts are here. So let me just see if it's here already. If not, it'll be here by this afternoon. Yeah, it's not here. And so by this afternoon, Chula Vista will be loaded up into the actual database. We're going to start dripping on them with emails already, calling the schools, and then showing up. We just need two. We want two, maybe three actual staff meetings in November from Chula Vista because we don't have the people. We don't have it. I'm not going to take on a bunch. So once we hit our first three schedule, we're going to stop, and then we're going to continue. This is the part that I'm going to turn it over to you. Any questions from anybody about anything? Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? No webinar on Wednesday. Classes, if those are available, of course, it's not, nothing's ever mandatory. I'm going to be there on Thursday. We're going to be in the classroom hour to hour and a half, even though I had to rent that stupid thing for a minimum of 3 hours. We're going to be there hour and a half, and we're going to hit the schools immediately thereafter. And like I said, if you're not from the immediate area, you could just go hit the schools that you want wherever you are. So my recommendation to you is have an idea of where you want to work. So if you want to come with your own list of schools, that's also fine. But I'm just going to show you how to do it with LAUSD because that's what I know best. And I'm telling you right now, you better get on your knees and thank God that we have the LAUSD next to us because it is a lifesaver for so much. They represent 97% of our business. And I'm so glad that I live way the hell out in Ontario, and I'm glad I'm so close to it. Some of you live in the LAUSD. So there's no reason why you're not consistently opening up 1 to 2 schools a month, running at least in one of those two. It should be you. You're the presenter. You're the closer, especially for the smaller size schools. And then we take it from there as well. Any other questions, comments, concerns from anyone before we wrap it up? Please. Unmute yourself, please. Don't forget to unmute yourself. All right. If no one has anything else, I know George is caught up in something, so he's not going to be here today. Kathy, anything you want to add?
I was going to actually congratulate Rhett, but you already did because
Yeah.
I looked at that leaders board. The only thing I wanted to say is when you look at the leaders board, that's just your points. That's not going to be exactly what you'll get paid. So that's going to be dependent on your percentage. Just so that, like,
Got it.
anyone's looking at that, that's the actual target premiums. But then whatever you have, it's going to be different. So.
And minus any splits if there are splits. I mean, some
Yeah,
of them have, some of them not.
But yeah, and then if you do split, that's why I get those weird applications too, like counts, because if you're splitting, it's going to take away from your app count.
Yeah, so if I submit, let's just say 7 applications, but one of them is a split of 50-50 with Kathy, then I have 6.5. That's how you end up with those percentages or missing or added or whatever the case might be. Cool. Anybody else? Any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'm telling you, this is going to be a very good week when it comes to app count. We only have 2 staff meetings. Reggie's going to handle one. Monica handles the other one. This is the time to clean house and go back and not have to worry about how many staff meetings and closers and how we're going to scramble and cancellations. There's no reason why this coming week is not the most productive week in the history of your business here at FFS because we have the availability to clean house and go back and talk to those that maybe did not call us back, whatever. This is the time to show up to the campuses. This is the time to door knock the classrooms, especially by now. If you haven't done this, so I'll give you a little hack, as everybody likes to call them nowadays. It used to be called a tip. All people call it a tip. But now the hack is when you go to any school, they will give you, when you go to the front office or online, the bell schedule. Get the bell schedule. You can get the bell schedule for any school anywhere. If you walk in person, they'll give you a printout of the actual bell schedule. If you go online, you'll find it there. Now, why is that important? Because if I see that recess is at 10:15 a.m., that's the time I'm going to be there to try to make contact with the teachers in person. If I see lunches at 12:15, that's the time I know that they're going to be available to see me. Unless they're in the, but then we can text them once we get there. But always start with the classroom. And then, of course, what time they come out at 2:30, 2:15. Well, they usually go drop off the kids if it's an elementary school. They play, let's just say, they're going to play traffic cop, directing traffic. But once that settles, they're there for you to see them as well. Last call. Questions, comments, concerns. If not, I want to say thank you to everybody for all that you do. I truly hope and pray that some of you understand how important it is to increase your numbers in the coming weeks because there's only a few weeks left in October. And then there's going to be the Thanksgiving break. And so you're not going to get a chance to prove yourself come November for obvious reasons. And then it's December, it's going to be even worse. People want to hold on to their money, they spend money. That's why we like the school campaign so much, because when they're off, we're off. But some of you cannot afford to be off right now. Thankfully, what's going to save some of you potentially, this police campaign is here. As a matter of fact, today in about 2 hours, our first email goes out to police, the actual team captains from the Baker to Vegas race, and we should have some barbecues on the calendar before the week is over. And then the same thing. If you've been an observer before, you can't come again. But if you want to be an observer, you've never been in one, you can observe. And then, of course, we've got some numbers to show that shows us you're an asset, not a liability. Then our goal is to go ahead and give you some of those appointments. And we are having a special training, a live training in West LA. I don't have the exact date, on on police business. How we conduct the Baker to Vegas campaign. And the difference is much bigger target premiums. Our dress code's different and everything in between. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's go out there and make this the most productive week in the history of our FFS business. Thank you.